Hello, I'm John, and if you've watched my videos before, you know I quite like running.
Out of breath already. What on earth?
And if you're new here, well, I bloody love running.
If I have an accident here.
What you might not know though is that I have Crohn's disease, and I'd like to tell you about it.
I really think I do try and do everything I can to be careful with Crohn's and running.
In 2019, I started getting stomach issues, and that led me to get a GP appointment, lots and lots of tests later, and a lot of uncertainty. I had a colonoscopy, and at the age of 16, I was diagnosed with Crohn's disease. So what exactly is Crohn's disease? Well, essentially, it's an autoimmune disease. It's a type of inflammatory bowel disease. That means that your body is attacking itself. It thinks something is wrong in your digestive system, so it sends things to attack whatever it thinks is wrong, and essentially just ends up attacking itself. A little bit stupid if you ask me. So this causes inflammation in the colon and the small intestine. It can be all the way up your digestive tract, in fact, and symptoms can include abdominal pain, diarrhea, nausea, and then nutrients deficiencies from not being able to absorb things from your food. So for me in 2019, that manifested itself in me losing a lot of weight. I had just turned 17 and I was only 40 kilograms. I had to use the toilet multiple times a day, was essentially chronically fatigued, which left me on the sofa for most days. I'd also developed a severe iron deficiency, which came with a lot of symptoms in itself because my body just couldn't absorb that nutrients that it needed. And at the end of the summer, I got put on a liquid diet to try and suppress the inflammation, and essentially it worked. I slowly reintroduced foods, and ever since then, I've been on a couple of different medications called immunosuppressants. What that does is essentially calm down your immune system, so it tells your body not to attack itself so much. At the moment, that is an injection every week of adalimumab, which is really hard to say, and that essentially keeps my symptoms at bay. That doesn't mean I'm in the clear though. Symptoms come and go day to day, week to week. You never quite know when the next flare-up will be, which is kind of when it gets a little bit worse for a while, and you might have to treat it in a slightly different way. After all, this is a disease I live with and I'm going to have to live with for the rest of my life. I've always been quite an active person. My family cycled everywhere when I was younger. I played football. I ran even when I was a kid, joined a lot of the school running clubs, didn't do it very competitively or anything like that. Didn't really think I was that good at it, but enjoyed it quite a lot. Then obviously got ill and exercise was kind of off the cards. But in the 2020 lockdown, as I was starting to recover and gain a bit more strength back, I decided to go on a couple of cycle rides when I was released from my shielding. And then I went for a run, and it was really bad at first. Not just I wasn't fit, but I'd actually forgotten like how to run. Essentially, as a kid, you're so used to just being able to put one foot in front of the other, not think about just running across the field. But here I was, and I'd like completely lost the muscle memory of how to actually run. Second run was slightly better, and by the third I'd kind of remembered how to do it again. Then with the help of some neighbours, I got into exercise. Essentially we'd do circuits in the morning and occasionally go on a run. I completed my first 5k in a wonderful time of 38 minutes and 34 seconds, and then eventually got down to the 30-minute mark. That was such a big barrier for us. I remember breaking 30 minutes for the first time. Eventually I then ran a 10k and then ran a half marathon in 2021. But essentially what I'd found myself, or refound, was a love of exercise and particularly running. Anyway, then I went to uni, and as you can kind of imagine, fell out of the routine a bit, just stopped doing it essentially. The whole of the first term I did zero exercise until early 2022 when I started to do a couple of runs and then went to my first park run. I started doing that routinely, absolutely loved it. In my second year of uni, got a bit more into running, third year even more. Anyway, this video really isn't about my running journey. I got obsessed, blah blah blah. At the end of 2023, I joined the uni athletics club and met a bunch of cool people, even met my girlfriend, who has been a massive help in making me realise how much I need to support myself with my Crohn's and running and finding that balance. And by 2024, I was putting a lot more effort in and regularly making videos for this YouTube channel. And to be honest, the rest is history. You can see it all in the videos that I've made. If you think back to why I started making videos though, it was it's because I ran the Great North Run in 2023 for Crohn's and Colitis UK, which is kind of the country's leading IBD and IBS charity. They do a lot of support work and a lot of research, and I always had the intention of this channel and these videos raising awareness for Crohn's and documenting what it's like to live with a chronic illness. Crohn's is an invisible illness, and as with a lot of chronic illnesses, you can't always see when people are suffering with it. And to be honest, I deal with it more than I'd care to admit. There's awareness of it almost every day. I have to put more effort into thinking about how I feel, what I'm eating, how much sleep I'm getting. It makes me more fatigued and more anxious about social situations, and when I am stressed or anxious or feeling any extreme emotion really often, that can manifest itself in physical symptoms. I am such a believer in your gut being your second brain, because I really feel everything that happens up here also happens down here. Crohn's is something I'm always going to be dealing with, and a lot of the time it's a lot harder than I care to admit. But that being said, I've also found a passion for something new, exercise and running, something that I didn't really think I'd ever find, and I didn't really think of myself as a sporty person before this came along, and that's all kind of down to having Crohn's and wanting to get fitter and healthier after being really ill. I found a new respect for my body and the health that I do have. It also taught me a lot about people in general, just the fact that a lot of people are struggling with something and often you can't see what that is. Going around with a bit of kindness, a bit of patience with people is, I guess, the best way to respond to that. It's taught me a lot about the human body and how we often don't respect it as much as we should do. However, Crohn's doesn't define me, and it definitely doesn't stop me. As you can see on this channel, I want to be fit and healthy, and I really want to be as fast at running as I possibly can. Crohn's doesn't mean you can't have ambitious, adventurous goals, and it doesn't mean I can't do things that I want to do. Yes, it's different for everyone, but for me, I'd like to push my body and mind as far as possible to see what it is capable of doing, partly under the limitations of Crohn's disease, and partly just because I want to see what I can do, and the way I kind of do that is through running. A diagnosis at a young age, which is often the case with Crohn's, most people are diagnosed between the ages of 13 and 18, can often feel like a barrier or someone telling you this is how your life is going to be. And if I can prove to at least one person with these videos that you can still do the things you want to do hard things and push your body with Crohn's or a chronic illness, then I'll be very happy. I actually googled, can you run with Crohn's disease, in the early days of my running journey, and I found the answers to be pretty bad. Either it said, yeah, you'll be fine, you don't even have to think about it, or absolutely not, people should not run with Crohn's disease, and that's not the case. Crohn's is a very personal disease depending on who it's in. It can manifest itself in lots of different ways with different severities, so there isn't a one-size-fits-all answer, but hopefully this channel is acting as something that can prove that you can do hard things with Crohn's disease, and as long as you listen to your body, take care of it, and are kind to yourself, you can kind of do anything you want. This seat is really, really wet. Crohn's is such a big part of my life. I wake up thinking about it and I go to bed thinking about it. But as I said, it doesn't define me. It is currently, and probably will be for the rest of my life, the hardest challenge I will ever have. But surely that means I can do basically anything. I want to run a 15-minute 5K, I want to release an album of my own music, I want to grow old, have a family, I want to travel, and I want to help inspire people with chronic illnesses to make the most out of their lives. All of these things, Crohn's kind of gives me the power to believe I can do, and weirdly, it's given me a lot of self-confidence that I didn't have before. So if you know anyone that you think might be helped by this video or my channel, please share it with them. This is kind of my promise to keep making videos about Crohn's disease, share my journey, not shy away from it, and try and help people living with chronic illness. If you've watched to the end of this video, thank you. It really, really means a lot to me. If you have any questions or anything like that, put it in the comments, message me on Instagram, even email me, I don't mind. I'd like to make more videos about this, and the only way I can do that and think of the ideas is finding out what people want to know. So get in contact and I will definitely answer any queries you have. And if you want to support me here, please do feel free to like the video and subscribe, because that will essentially share it to more people and we can raise awareness for Crohn's and chronic illness in general. Roughly 1 in 4 people live with chronic pain or a lifelong illness of some sort. This is really something that more people should know about. And if you could help me in doing my bit, I'd greatly appreciate it. But for now, it's raining and I've probably got a run to go on, so I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.